Do you remember the days in which Republicans loved to talk about the weaponization of government? Joe Biden allowing his DOJ to investigate Donald Trump's attack on our Capitol and to allow any investigation into the many crimes committed by Donald Trump. That was the weaponization of government. President Biden saying, I am not going to interfere. I am not going to instruct. I will not be a part of this. I will be apolitical, even to a fault, because Donald Trump is not behind bars as he should be. That was the weaponization of government. Well, if you think that they cared that much about something so insignificant, something that wasn't true, imagine how much they're going to care about what Donald Trump is doing right now, which is actually weaponizing government. And I got some breaking news for you. Yeah, they don't care, but they need to. And that's why Jamie Raskin is calling them out. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now let's get into Jamie Raskin talking about the incredibly corrupt deal happening between New York City Mayor Eric Adams and the Trump administration.
Well, it was a case about corruption. There was a corrupt bargain to drop the case if he would get on the president's political team. And then they had to corruptly fire 7 excellent lawyers in the Public Integrity Division and the Criminal Division of the Department of Justice. The whole thing is saturated with corruption. And I think to me, it reflects the larger theme that that's what this administration is about. They came in, they sacked 17 inspectors general. Those are the people, you know, Chris, at the departments, at the agencies, whose job it is to fight corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse. Last year, they saved us $93 billion. You know, Elon Musk hasn't saved us $93. He's just out there firing good federal workers who are doing their jobs as research scientists at NIH or air traffic controllers or food and safety investigators. There is a way to go after corruption, and we've set up a system to do it. They're also dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which saved us tens of billions of dollars in consumer ripoffs from airlines and banks and credit card companies. They limited overdraft fees to $5, which, you know, the Trump administration wants to overturn. They're gutting the enforcement of corporate white-collar crime in the Department of Justice. That's the whole MO of this new administration. They want to make it as easy as possible for corruption to proceed among their friends. And this is just a very vivid example of it.
Here's the counter. The counter is, first of all, Adams is your guy. He's a Democrat.
I'm not talking partisan. I mean, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that's the first thing is they'll say, well, Adams is a Democrat. He's the one who cut the deal because he'd rather hold down a sanctuary city than comply with federal law, which should have never been done. But the other part they say is, Jamie, you are defending the status quo. You like these handouts. You like the waste. Everybody loves the pork. And you don't want the establishment messed with because that's what you're a part of. And Trump is a disruptor. And disruption is imperfect and ugly, and that's what's going on, but it'll get us to a better place.
Okay, so let me answer both of those because I think you have successfully captured their best rhetorical answers to what we're talking about. First of all, the fact that Mayor Adams is a Democrat is neither here nor there for me. I don't want corrupt politicians who are Republicans, Democrats, or anything else. So they are forming a corruption party very clearly. Whether you're talking about Vladimir Putin,
you think Adams? You think Adams is corrupt, Jamie?
No, I want the criminal justice system to work. He was indicted by a grand jury in New York, which found probable cause that he committed several corruption offenses. The criminal justice process was working, right? The U.S. Attorney's Office found there was probable cause. The grand jury found there was probable cause. And the only reason that he's not going to trial, maybe the judge might not accept this absurd revocation of the prosecution, but the only reason it's not going forward is because Donald Trump cut a corrupt bargain with an allegedly corrupt politician, and they did it corruptly, and they sacked conservative lawyers who were clerking for Justice Scalia and Chief Justice Robertson with the Federalist Society, and it was too much for even them to stomach.
They quit. They quit, and they say the only reason it moved forward is because Adams told the truth about the Biden administration being lax on illegal immigration, and the DOJ targeted him. And if you look at anybody, you'll find
for whatever reason. Yeah, but all
that's
of that
bad
is
reason.
propaganda, obfuscation, all of that, because what matters here is that he has been indicted. He was about to be prosecuted, and they yanked it because of a corrupt bargain that was then corruptly forced through the Department of Justice, and they sacked a whole bunch of excellent lawyers, including conservative lawyers who had clerked for the most right-wing justices in the land. But
Jamie.
look, this is
they quit.
Good. They quit. They did the right thing because they said that lawyers should not be forced to engage in a corrupt bargain. And you had the most conservative lawyers in the Department of Justice saying that.
Trump
but
says he
this
didn't
is
know about
reflective of what's going on.
Trump says
you
he didn't know
they
about
said
it.
they're not going to. Whatever. If you believe that, then I'm sure there's some bridges in New York named after various members of your family I could sell you. But look,
I do not believe that.
All right, but here's my point. There are very serious public policy issues at stake here. They're dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They said they are not going to enforce the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. They are suspending investigations and prosecutions into foreign corporations corruptly interfering in the American economy. So they're basically making deals with the most corrupt governments and corporations all over the world. That is the dominant MO. That is the theme and the impetus of this administration. And then you've got Elon Musk, who is being investigated by 7 or 8 federal agencies and departments, taking over those agencies and departments and seizing control over the financial data of 300 million Americans and the payment systems. A guy who got started doing PayPal is now taking over the payment systems of the United States.
Now, Jamie Raskin, as he always does, gives an incredible explanation of what is going on here, but I think that we should hear from him in a different interview when he's kind of talking about more of the legalese surrounding those who have resigned their office and are trying to push back against Donald Trump, because it's part of this broader conversation that we've been having lately about the intimidation factor so key to his administration. So I'm going to check out what Raskin had to say, and then I want to kind of talk about all this in that context.
As Andrew Weissman says, if you're going to pursue charges against a mayor, the SDNY was going to make sure that they had as solid a case as they could. But no one's been to a trial yet. They would actually have to prove this in trial. So if Eric Adams' big beef was that these charges were unfair, which a lot of people who are charged say, he would have had his day or days in court. I think it's interesting to see that these lawyers, lawyer after lawyer after lawyer, these prosecutors, federal prosecutors, again, these are conservatives, are prepared to go ahead with stepping down, with resigning and writing these scathing letters to say, this is not right. This is not what our system is supposed to be. In a world where we're all looking for our footing on how to fight back against this, I think that was pretty encouraging.
Well, look, these people are real lawyers, and they're very solid and honorable prosecutors because they said what we base a prosecutorial judgment on is the facts of the case and then what the law is. And they went through all of that, and they said that it met the very stringent test of probable cause, the same test that a grand jury in New York used to hand it down. So what changed? There were no new facts. There was no new law adopted. The law didn't change. What changed was Donald Trump's interest in the case and bringing over Mayor Adams to his side politically. And he was willing to trade off the justice system of the United States. And these people are saying no way. But I just want everybody to see this is what is taking place across the government now. They claim they are opponents of corruption. They are all agents of corruption, and corruption has always been at the heart of authoritarianism. We can either have government that is going to be an instrument for the common good for everybody and for democratic institutions, or it's going to be an agent of corruption for small groups of people, like the unelected billionaire bureaucrat who's been busy squashing cases against him in numerous federal agencies and departments because a lot of them had investigative actions going against Elon Musk, and he's been able to take over those departments. And, well, you know, they disappear while he continues to rake in billions of dollars from federal taxpayers as a government contractor.
I have talked about the many ways that Doge is trying to accomplish several goals. Of course, the first is to push this false narrative that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are about saving you money, that they're these genius businessmen who know how to get the fat, know how to get the waste out of government. That's fundamentally not true, and it only exists to cover up for the fact that they are about to take all your tax dollars and give the wealthiest people in the history of the world the biggest tax cut ever. So that's one. But the second thing that Doge is trying to accomplish, and we're going to bring this back into Eric Adams, is that Elon wants to intimidate, annoy, and really just make difficult the lives of anyone in government who is there to make people's lives better, to actually be a real public servant, the people that we are so lucky to have in our government with their level of expertise and dedication to the work that they're doing. He wants those people to be like, I cannot deal with this guy. I do not need a 25-year-old software engineer leaking my data because Elon Musk has given him unilateral authority over the federal government. He wants those people to leave. Why? One, because they hate expertise. Two, because they hate public servants, because they can't fundamentally understand why someone would want to serve the public and be selfless. And the third reason is because they want to install their own lackeys, which is what is so important about this Eric Adams thing, is it's not only an opportunity for Donald Trump to have kind of an extension of him in New York City, have control over this person who is now breaking state and city ordinances, and how he is handling, cooperating in an illegal way with Donald Trump's ICE raids, right? So that's one. But what is happening now is that with these resignations, Donald Trump has been able to install his own people. Right? A lot of this has been about the fact that Trump and Elon just can't get past the civil service protections in place to make sure that they can't undo the federal government completely. Because when they do, Project 2025 has a big list of people all lined up ready to serve. By serve, I mean fall in line in the fascist order. So that is what all of this is accomplishing. And it's why it's so incredibly scary. And it's why we have to be very loud in having the backs of the people standing up to Donald Trump and stand up to ourselves as well. And it's what we're going to be doing, of course, on this show every day. I know it's tough. I know it is not a fun topic of conversation we're having every day. I'm sorry about that. I had a big rant about J.D. Vance in the last video, if you saw that one. But we're going to do everything we can to make it a little bit more positive and at least try to do the good work. And I appreciate you being a part of that with me. So if you want to support the channel, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.